Welcome to the 2-Hour Track Challenge premiere for October 4th, 2019. Every week I try to find a couple hours to make a piece of music, see what it can do in the time limit of 2 hours, and it's also my chance to experiment and make something stupid that I wouldn't normally get to make in one of my bigger projects that maybe I care a little bit more about. And sometimes it comes out with cool results, so I like to share that result with the world a couple weeks later. Initially, I'll do this quick little premiere on Twitch, and then I'll get it up, get a video made for Saturday, so the rest of anybody who wasn't here can still listen to the song on YouTube. So why don't I start off with playing the song?
Taskmaster sent me out on a mission, but I didn't know what to do, so I just poured some salt on a shoe.
What is this that you have done? This is not what I had asked. The client should have never run with salt under his ass.
I know it's my fault, 'cause I didn't even read that quest. I was way too focused on the rest. Don't worry, Mr. Taskman. I'll get it this time, I swear.
It's more Taskmaster, you imbecile.
You sent me out again. This time I knew what exactly to do. I went up straight to that client and I stole his shoes.
Never thought you'd fool me twice. This isn't what I need. Leave now, 'cause it would be nice if you would just let me be.
I wagged my finger without. You do not understand. Everything you asked of me is right here in my hand.
I grip the paper with my hands and see my instructions clear as day. I see the client holding his prize shoes.
Legendary shoes.
And they were circled.
I am really happy with that one. So I guess I'll start off. Usually at this point, I like to take a look back at how I made the song, what sort of inspiration went into it and whatnot. Sorry, just adjusting the mat under my feet there. I think I could start off this time with just somewhat of a confession, I guess. This one took 4 hours. I mean, I could make a bunch of excuses. She had a lot of creative control. Obviously, I had a guest there. She had a lot of creative control. We worked on it together, and she's not as used to what it takes to make a song in 2 hours. And lyrics on top of that are hard to begin with. I mean, it's hard to make a song in 2 hours that's instrumental, and you add lyrics, and that's just even harder. But you know what? That's not really the point. The important thing here is we had fun. I started off doing a 2-hour track challenge every week. Sort of, it was 2 hours because that's what Ben Burns does every week, and I decided I'd give it a try. I originally did that partially so that I can force myself to call something complete and stop nitpicking my own nitpicking my work and whatnot as much. And then it just kind of evolved into this time every week where I get to experiment with things, as I mentioned earlier. And make something silly, and not everything has to be serious. And the reason it's still 2 hours is because, well, that's where it started. But also, I do these things at 7 p.m. So same time as this. Usually some point during the week, usually Thursday. And then 2 hours from there is 9 p.m. and that's about a good time that I should probably start wrapping things up and start going towards bed. So in a way, it's a one night challenge. Make a song in one evening, most of the time. 2 hour album challenge is an obvious exception. That's That's the week after this. If you don't know what that is, 2hac.abstractionmusic.com. I won't get too much into it. But why don't we just stop blabbing about that and get into how I made the song? This one spawned from two main ideas. The first big thing I knew coming up to this was I went to a concert for it was Camelot, Sonata Arctica, and Battle Beast. So a metal show, and that was on a Saturday, and then the Thursday after that, I went to see Delane, Amorphous, and Annika van Giersbergen open for them doing an acoustic set. So most of that is metal, and so I had plans to sort of go in the metal direction because that's what I usually do after a concert. Is I'll sort of go in the same direction as the artist I just saw, and since I saw two concerts that week and they were both metal, well, obviously I'm going to go towards metal. But then on the Wednesday night before the Delane show, my sister told me that her friend was going to be in town for the weekend, is staying here. She stayed here before. I got no problem with it. She's a good person. But my sister was also out all day on Friday. Because she was working during the day, and then she went straight from work to a friend's house for D&D. So when my sister told me about this, she's like, you don't have to entertain her, but because she'll have her PlayStation. She's probably gonna be playing Final Fantasy XIV all day and night. Well, she was actually working on something during the day at the same table that I work at for my job, since I work from home, and we were chatting a little bit, and I told her what I usually do, what I was going to do that night, because the Friday was the day I ended up doing this challenge, and told her that we should make some lyrics for this. And we right after work, I started to sort of brainstorm ideas of something that we could do, and she was playing Final Fantasy XIV at that point, some expansion pack. She was doing side quests from talking to a guy named Mord Taskmaster. I have no idea. I don't play this game. And I think I had questioned his name, and she said she didn't even know what she's supposed to be doing in this quest, because she hasn't been paying attention to the story for the side quests. Well, she's just kind of doing them for experience. So that spawned an interesting idea. I started writing an idea. It turns out she's really good at improv. I knew this. I completely forgot about this. So as soon as I started writing Mord Taskmaster, you sent me out on a mission, she just took that and ran. She had like 6 lines, including... Then I came back to you and you said to me, blah, 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 blah. So I guess more than 6 lines. So I typed out what I could from... because she improv this so fast, and I came back. I looked at what we got, and it's like, well, why don't we take out the? And then I came back to you because it just didn't fit. And you said to me, just cut that out because I'll be more Taskmaster. So we sitting there before dinner, we just we wrote up the basic idea of the lyrics. Yeah, we improvised it a little bit while we're in the studio, but I'll tell more a little bit about that later. I want to first take a look at the layout of this track. So she was on a quest when 7 o'clock came around. So I just came down here and started laying things out. I pulled out some metal drums because metal. Let's see if I can. Oh, maybe I should unmute that. So it starts off with a cymbal swell, and then it's just a bunch of pieces that I found. I found one of these rhythms. I think it was that one, and then I laid out the rest. Taking a look at the lyrics, figuring out. I figured that we could get Candela, because is that her name? Candela is her character's name. In the blue stuff, and then more Taskmaster would be the chorus, which is a little bit more angry because if you heard the lyrics, he's angry. And then I just added some fills in between to make it transition between those parts. The green bridge here is just the solo, I guess. And then the ending at the end there. And then I laid out the bass guitar, figured out what I was going to do. I think I just did something really simple so that I can actually remember. It was like G, D, C, and then for the chorus or more Taskmaster's parts, it was just like a bunch of E's or something. I can't quite remember. Comes in with a slide. Oh, the slide was on the rhythm guitar, I think. Yeah, the bass guitar is just... Bass guitar is pretty simple. I didn't want to spend too much time focusing on the instrumentation. I only took half an hour to make the drums, the bass guitar, the rhythm guitar, so these three things here. I just took half an hour to do that. At that point, she was done her quest, so she came downstairs, and I set up the vocal booth, which at the time was I had to set it up right there, which is not the most convenient place because let's see if I can. That's where my monitors are as well. And so we recorded a few takes of her, and then I went in there and recorded a few takes of my part. She was still kind of figuring out how to do this, what melody to use and whatnot. So was I, although I had a little bit better idea. And then once we recorded that, we unplugged the mic and turned on the monitors again, which means we'd have to disassemble the vocal booth, and figured out what take we like, what part from, and there were some parts that we didn't completely like, but at the same time we were actually pretty close to the end of the 2 hours at this point, so I decided I wanted to focus on the solo, which I was going to see if I could do a synth solo, because a lot of the metal bands I listen to do like to do synth solos, but I am really bad at figuring out what kind of synth I should use, and I couldn't find anything that fit, so I just pulled out my guitar and figured out how to do that. I'm really garbage at guitar, but, it worked. So at that point, we were already past the 2 hour mark. I'm not going to call it cheating. I'm going to call it having fun. And then once I recorded that, then we reassembled the vocal booth and went in. We listened to the whole song again, and really figured out what we wanted to change and how we wanted to change it. One of the things with doing a track in 2 hours is you don't get... you kind of have to figure out what's good and what's bad during that time. Because if you... I know some people do 2 hour track challenges or time challenges and then just have that as sort of a starting point and then take that track later and really smooth it out. I'm actually doing that with one of my songs in a way. I did a 2 hour track challenge last year, and it didn't... I felt like it didn't get the love that it deserved, but now I'm actually working on remaking that song, But that's kind of beside the point right now. Um, the point that I was trying to say is, you don't get a fresh ear when if you with the bigger projects when I'm working, I'll lay something out, and it'll sound good that night, and then I'll listen to it the next day and realize where it needs to change. And that's especially true, I find, of vocals. Um, when I'm playing guitar, I press on a certain fret, and I get that note. If I'm playing something on the keyboard, I click that note, and I get that note. If I'm recording vocals, usually I don't know the melody yet because I'm very improv when it comes to figuring out vocal melodies. Um, Actually, a lot of melodies, I guess. And so when I there's a point here at the end of this song, and this is actually the take that we took. This right here, that's Candela. Nope. This one right here, right around here.
Holding his prize shoe.
That is way off pitch. I didn't realize how bad it was the night that we did that. But the reason that's off pitch is because I didn't realize where I was going with that melody yet. Um, and if I were to re-record that now, I'd anticipate that better and hit the pitch that it should actually be. Um, so yeah, I guess just yeah, that's sort of the thing. So we got a little bit of a fresh ear when we took a break to for me to record this guitar solo. She was messing around with the keyboard at the time, so I had to put my headphones on. But yeah, so we recorded a few more takes. We also came up with this idea to, during the solo, have this little conversation where she calls me Taskman, Mr. Taskman, and it's actually Mord Taskmaster. That's actually because we kept forgetting what the guy's name was, and I kept calling him Mr. Mord Taskman instead of Mord Taskmaster, so it just kind of made it into the end song. And yeah, other than that, we just recorded a few more takes, figured out what was good and what wasn't. Some of these things I had to put on a different track, like this one here. What is that? Oh, that one there. Oh, this one needed some saturation, that's why. I'm trying to remember. Most of these tracks were copy and pasted, so like this compressor and this reverb are going to be really similar in most of these. This one here, in particular,
It's more Taskmaster, you imbecile.
I added a little bit more reverb than most of the tracks, just to make the conversation feel a little bit different than a couple people singing in a studio. And same thing here. This track has a little bit more reverb than the rest of it. That's the one with. That's a good solo, you dipshit.
Don't worry, Mr. Taskman. I'll get it this time, I swear.
That was brilliant take. So yeah, there's just a little bit more reverb to make it feel more like characters are just in the field talking rather than in the studio singing into the microphone specifically. And then Val had this part at the end where when I said legendary shoes, or his prize shoes, she whispered legendary shoes, which of course that's going to need a different mix, because she whispered it so damn quiet and never going to be heard behind everything else.
Legendary shoes.
So that I added some more compressor, a little bit more reverb, volume high a little bit.
I see the client holding his prize shoe.
Right here.
Legendary shoes.
Yeah. And then this, and they were circled at the end here.
And they were circled.
That's actually something that was completely made up in the studio. I didn't do that in any other take. But it was the kind of thing where when I was when we were working on the lyrics, I couldn't figure out. I was having trouble with this line here, because we see the client holding his shoes. Kind of the point was, you know, Candela gets gets sent out on a mission, doesn't know what to do, poured some stuff right on his shoe. Originally that said stuff, we decided to change it to salt in the second round of takes. Taskmaster gets mad. Candela admits her fault. And then gets sent out again. And Taskmaster's still so upset. And he gets mad about Candela stealing the shoes. Candela's like, no, that is what you asked. And Taskmaster's like, oh, you're right. So yeah, I was having trouble figuring out how to fit this into 4 lines. To say, in a picture, steal these shoes. And you see, the picture shows the client holding his shoes. We had that for the longest time. But as I was recording, I still had that in the back of my mind. That one take, I still had that in the back of my mind. That still doesn't say anything about the shoes, really. It just shows the client, he just happens to have his shoes. So I said that, and they were circled. And yeah, I sounded like super salty, like I did not want to be wrong about that. They were circled. And I didn't do that in any other take, and we both agreed that that needs to stay. And so it did. Another thing that we did in this song, this is something that I don't normally do in a 2-hour track challenge, just because I'm trying to, I'm so focused on getting it done in the 2 hours. But since we had a few takes and some of them are pretty similar, because like at this point, by the point, my God, by the time we got to this point here, we'd already figured out. We had already basically settled on this melody that she is saying here. This take we changed the lyrics a little bit, because up here we said, so I just pour some stuff on a shoe. And then we decided we should probably say salt, because that explains that salt under his ass line. And then since these were so similar,
more taskmen, send me out on
that worked together. So we did that a few times with our few takes, and normally I haven't done that in a 2-hour track challenge, just because I've been focusing on getting one good take, and I don't know how to sing. I have trouble singing along with that take, because I don't know what I did again the next time. I'm still not used to singing along with this song, because it's just brand new. And also this time, I thought it sounded kind of cool. This was a happy little accident in this case, because I didn't have this channel muted. I had both these channels playing on accident. And I thought it sounded cool when she says Taskman and Taskmaster at the same time. I think this one she says Taskmaster.
More taskmaster, send me out on a...
Yeah, and then this one, more Taskman.
More taskman, send me out on a mission.
And you can hear how much more confident she is in that later take too, because now we're really getting used to how the song goes, sort of thing. I am talking about this a lot. I just saw the time. So yeah, and then together they sound
More taskmen, send me out
pretty
on
cool,
a
I think.
mission. But I didn't know what to do, so I just poured some salt on a shoe.
This here was complete improv on that take. This is the last take, I think. We took a lot from her last take when we're going through the final takes. This little verse here, we actually took it from 3.
I know it's my fault, 'cause I didn't even read that quest. I was way
That was tricky. I don't remember why, but we didn't like the ending of this.
I was way too focused on the rest.
I think it's just this was better pitch and whatnot.
Focused on the rest.
But she was also singing a tiny little bit different there. So that kind of, you can kind of hear it, hear the style shift there.
I was way too focused on the rest.
Because yeah, we like the beginning here better, and the end here better, and this part here better than both of those.
I know it's my fault, 'cause I didn't even read that quest.
Also, she kept doing this sort of background vocal thing, where she'd finish off a line and then repeat the last word or two. Normally that would be in a different track, but it seemed to be working here, so, and we kept them. It was just in that one take, I think, that she did that. This one here is actually an interesting split.
I went up straight to that client and I stole his shoe.
So we both had, it was actually my phone because I had the lyrics on my phone. We had that in the recording booth with us as we're recording our parts because we didn't know the lyrics yet. Because it's hard to learn lyrics that fast. And that was a legitimate laugh. At how silly this song is. She saw that line coming and just started laughing, and I listened to it and it's like, that sounds, I really like that laugh there. It's like an evil laugh, like you're just mischievous and stealing clients' shoes for just to be mischievous. But then when she was doing this later take here,
His shoes.
She did the echoey thing, and the echo had shoes instead of shoe. So we got here shoe, and I stole his shoe, and then here his shoes. Put those two together, and you get this.
I went up straight to that client and I stole his shoes.
Which sounds pretty sweet. I quite like it. Yeah, and then this. Where's the middle part? Oh, wait, here. So this interaction in the bridge, in the solo, when we went back for our second round of recording, I went in first, because the mic was already set up to my height. She's like this short or something. And also just because we wanted to record my part at the end here before she did the legendary shoes so she could get the timing mostly ready. I had to adjust it a little bit anyway. But then just so she could hear that coming. So I recorded this little...
It's more Taskmaster, you imbecile.
As a response to nothing. And then positioned it later after she recorded this.
Don't worry, Mr. Taskman. I'll get it this time, I swear.
So yeah, she recorded that after, and then I had to position them to be in a good spot. Yeah. I think that's all about all the blabbing I got for this song. My master chain is pretty standard for these 2-hour track challenges. I got a bit of a fade out on the gain right at the end just to make sure there's nothing ringing out. And the song doesn't just suddenly cut off from even just a little bit of volume to nothing. I try to avoid that. And yeah, I do need a title for this, which yeah, even that night already I had this idea for failing Mord's mission, and then eventually it became failing the Taskmaster's mission. And I think I'm going to keep that one. So I'm going to play the song again here. Maybe a little bit quieter than that. What the hell is going on here? Failing the Taskmaster's... No, just failing Taskmaster's mission.
Sent me out on a mission, but I didn't know what to do.
This is so fun. I love this. October 4th, 2019.
What is this that you have done? This is not what I had asked. The client should have never run with salt under his ass.
What's going on here? Oh, wait, no, I remember how to do this. Let me export this. And then I can make a quick little video here.
I'll get it this time, I swear.
It's more Taskmaster, you imbecile.
One thing there, I should have emphasized master. I just wasn't quite thinking properly. That's my fault.
So you sent me out again. This time I knew what exactly to do.
I'm just gonna work on this while this song plays.
Stole his shoes.
Never thought you'd fool me twice. This isn't what I need. Leave now, 'cause it would be nice if you would just let me be.
I wagged my finger without. You do not understand. Everything you asked of me is right here in my hand.
I grip the paper with my hands and see my instructions clear as day. I see the client holding his prize shoes.
Legendary shoes.
And they were circled.
All right. So I guess that's going to do it for this particular premiere here. The next one I did, next 2-hour track challenge I did was on October 12th, and that was actually part of the 2-hour album challenge. The theme there was Crunch. The song can already be heard at tuhac.bandcamp.com. But essentially it's an orchestral sort of song with lyrics again. And the lyrics are about a car crash, but really it's a metaphor for something else.